Okay, so as you guys may know, the new 8.0 update just came out, and with it we got a new DLC, meaning new killer, new survivor, new map, and we also got some killer changes. Now some of you have been telling me to do a killer tier list video here, so here we go. Just a quick notice, these killers are nowhere near in order because I'm too lazy. Anyways, let's go ahead and get started here. First off, we got Trappy Boy. This guy, if you're going against a very good trapper, he's gonna be hard to win against him. Because a very good trapper, he's gonna know where to place his traps, you're gonna know everything. But I would say he's a very balanced killer. Unless he's running double iridescent allies, that's just annoying. But I would say he deserves a spot in A tier. A or B tier mainly. My opinion, I would say he deserves a spot in A tier. He's not bad, but he's not the best killer in the game. So I'd say A tier is pretty good for him. Next up, we got the Unreal. Right, so this killer right here, she's pretty good. She does have good gen pressure. She can win the game in under 10 minutes, even 5 minutes. She's a very solid killer. I would say that she does deserve her spot in S tier. Next up, we got Bleed. I was gonna go ahead and put this guy up here. He's definitely an S tier killer here. A very good Blight that knows what he's doing. It can be so hard to win against. If the Blight knows how to maneuver around everything, can wall hog everything, then you're most likely gonna die if you play against him. So I would say he's definitely an S tier killer. Next up, we got the Artist. Now, this killer right here, she's honestly a very underrated but powerful killer. She's definitely going in straight up in S tier here because her power is just so good and so annoying at the same time. Like, if you're going and chase against her and she knows where to put her crows and everything, you will struggle. She can end chases in less than 10 seconds. She's very good at gen pressure. She's just an all-around very good killer. Definitely worthy of S tier spot. Next up, we got the Twins. Now, this killer here, definitely not my favorite. But this killer, right, a very good player. Like if you're going against a very good Twins, you will struggle. However, if you're in a very closed map and you have very good teammates that know what they're doing, you won't struggle as much. So I would say she's definitely not an S tier killer. I don't think she deserves a spot in S tier, definitely not. But I say she's a very decent A tier killer. I would say, yeah, she deserves a spot in A tier, I would say. She's not bad, but then she's not the greatest killer. Next up, we got Nurse. Right, I'm just gonna go ahead and put this killer over there. Realistically, if you've been playing the game for a while, you would know that Nurse is the most broken killer in the game. No doubt about that. She can just destroy everything in her path. Even a good squad survivor with friends will struggle against a good Nurse. She's just an all-around broken killer. Next up, we got the Plague. She's honestly, I'm just gonna already put her in S tier. She's pretty good. A very good Plague that knows what she's doing is unstoppable.
And that's a fact.
Next up here, we got Trickster. Right, so this guy, if you are in an open field map, you are toast against him. You can't do anything. However, if you're in a closed map, this killer is utterly garbage in a closed field map. It really depends if you're in an open field map or a closed field map. But in an open field map, he's definitely A tier. So I'm gonna put him in A tier. I would say he's definitely in A tier. Next up, we got Shano. So this killer right here is honestly one of my favorites. He is pretty good. He's definitely pretty good. His power is very unique. He can hit survivors with his tail through many different objects. It's not bad. I don't think he's S tier material though. I would say he's very like high end. Yeah, he's very high end A tier. I would say he's pretty good A tier. Next up, we got Wesky Boy. So this guy, he's slightly difficult to rank because his power is good in chase. He's very decent if you know what you're doing. However, is he S tier material? No, definitely not. Does he provide good gen pressures? Yes, he can. To a certain extent, he can put decent gen pressure. But I don't think he's better than most of these killers. I would say he's pretty decent A tier. Next up, we got Singularity. So this guy, I recently went against him and I got demolished. I was playing with a friend of mine and we got demolished. A very good Singularity is actually a lot harder to beat than I thought. I originally was gonna rank this guy around B, maybe even an F tier, but he's definitely not an F tier, that's for sure, definitely not. He's not an S tier killer. I don't think he's worthy of S tier, but he's definitely up there in A tier. Next up, we got Pyramid Head. He's definitely not S tier, but he can have decent gen pressure. He is very good with chase. So I would say he deserves his spot in A tier. I'm not gonna put him super high up in A tier, but I would say he's very mid, he's very average. So I would say he's pretty good in A tier. I would say A tier is the spot for him. Next up, we got the Unknown. Right, so this guy, he can be very powerful. In certain areas, in certain maps, he can be incredibly broken. If you're going against an average team, a good team, but not a super like high-end squad, I would say he's pretty good. I would say he definitely deserves a spot up in A tier. Yeah, he's pretty decent as a killer itself. His power is pretty good. I would say, yeah, he's definitely good in A tier. Next up, we got the Legion. Right, so this guy is one of the most annoying killers in the game. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that. It is my opinion, okay? So, you might agree with me, you may disagree with me here. But, I would say he's around the B tier. He's not the most powerful killer, he's around very mid. Next up, we got the Oni. Right, so this guy is a beast. This killer right here, if you're going against an Oni and he knows what he's doing, you're most likely screwed. But he is very mid if you're going in a close field map. So it's like if you're going in Larry's, if you're going in the game map, he will struggle. He will struggle. But if you're in an open field map, you're dead. You can't do much against this guy realistically. So, because of that, I wouldn't say he's S tier, although he's pretty good, but I wouldn't say he's S tier. I would say he's very, like, high-end A tier. Next up, we got Myers, right. So this killer right here, people have mixed thoughts about him. Some people say he's so underrated, he needs a buff. Some people are saying he's broken. In my opinion, he's balanced. Myers is basically just an all-around decent killer. He's not broken, he's not terrible. He's just an all-around average decent killer. If you're going against him, you're most likely gonna have fun against this guy, to be quite frankly honest. So I will put him in low A tier. Next up, we got Slingy Boy. Over here, that Slinger really relies on maps as well. If you're in a closed field map, like if you're in Hawkins or something like that, this guy will not be the greatest. However, any dead slinger that has a very good aim, you will struggle against him. You will be very much toast against this guy. So I would say he definitely deserves a spot in A tier as well. Next up, we got Pinhead. So, people say that Pinhead is rather B tier, he's around the S tier. A lot of people have mixed thoughts about this guy as well. In my opinion, he's between A tier, like very decent mid A tier ish, or B tier. I'm gonna put this guy in mid A tier because a good Pinhead can apply pressure, his power is good, he has a lot of potential. Next up, we got Demo. So this guy, I mean, he's a very good killer. He's very fun to go against. He came out Stranger Things DLC. He's pretty good. I wouldn't say he's S tier. Definitely not S tier. I wouldn't say he's bad of a killer. He's pretty good. He can apply map pressure. He can apply gen pressure. He's just an all-round just a very good average killer. Therefore, I think he deserves a spot in A tier as well. Yeah, I'm gonna put this guy up in A tier. Next up, we got Billy Boy. So, this guy, he's pretty decent. I'd say he is a very good killer. He's not broken or anything. He is a very, very balanced killer. I love going against him. He's pretty good. He's not S tier, definitely not. But if you know how to play him, he can be very, very good. However, I want to put this guy as low A tier. Next up, we got Spirit. She's just an all-around madness of a killer. Like, I'm gonna straight up put her in S tier. Okay, definitely not in front of Nurse. Nothing's going in front of Nurse. But she is a very, very, very high-end killer right there. If you know how to play her, once you master her, you're guaranteed 4Ks after 4Ks after 4Ks. Next up, we got the Knight. He's not the worst killer in the game. He's one of the most annoying, but he's not the worst killers. I would say he deserves a spot in A tier as well. Say he's pretty good. He is very decent. I put him low A tier. Probably put him like next to Myers, I guess. Yeah, I say yeah, that's pretty good. Next up, we got Freddy Boy. I honestly haven't seen a Freddy in God knows how long. He's not a high-end killer at all. I'd say he's definitely B tier. He's not that powerful of a killer at all. He's okay, I guess, at applying gen pressures in certain maps, but any survivors that have gone against him in the past would know how to counter him. So I'd say he's pretty low in B tier there. Next up, we got the Pig. She's not the greatest killer in the game either. Like, she's just an all-around fun killer, especially if you can boop the snoot. That would be very nice. Like, power-wise, and gen pressure-wise, and map pressure, she's not that good. She's just not that good. I think she's a very, like, mid B tier. She's not that good as a killer. Like, she's fun if you can boop the snoot, but she's not worthy of A or S tier, definitely not. Next up, we got the Dredge. So this guy, he's a very decent killer. He can definitely apply map pressure, he can apply gen pressure, he is very good. He's a very high-end killer. But I wouldn't say he's S tier. I would say he's a very, like, average A tier. Next up, we got the Clown. Right, so this guy is very difficult to rate. He's very hard to rate. Because a good clown can end the game like in less than 8 minutes or something, which is better than some killers in A tier. However, that's only if he's going against mid survivors. I wouldn't say he's A tier. I would put him as a very decent B tier. Next up, we got Bubba. So this killer used to be broken because you used to just camp with him in the basement, and oh my god, that was annoying. But there is an anti-camping mechanic, which certain killers just don't even care about it, or just patrol the hooks either way. But I would say he's still a very decent A tier killer. He's not the greatest of A tier, but he is up there close to Billy. Next up, we got Huntress. Right, so this killer is a lot harder to rate than you think. Because again, she's very good. If you have good aim, you're gonna do well with her. However, she's not the greatest. Definitely not the greatest. But she deserves a spot in A tier. Next up, we got Chucky. Right, so this killer right here, I'm just gonna straight up put him in S tier. He is very good. A very good killer. Like, he's hard to spot. His power is very good. He's just an all-around amazing killer. Very annoying to go against, but he is very good. Next up, we got Wraith. This guy is one of the most fun and balanced killers you can go against or even play as. He isn't the greatest. Say this is mainly just an M1 killer, but I wouldn't say he's B tier. Now I know some of you will disagree with me on that. It's like Wraith, he's not really 80, he's not that strong, but he can be very strong. You're not going against survivors that are actually have knowledge of the killer, but I wouldn't say he's the best killer. So I'm gonna put him up there, mainly next to Billy, I guess, in A tier. Next up, we got Doctor. Doctor is a very decent killer, to say the least. He's definitely A tier material. I wouldn't say he has no gen pressure. He does have very good gen pressure. He can just immediately win games very fast. But I wouldn't say he's super good. I would say that he does deserve a spot roughly around mid to low A tier. I'm gonna go with mid. I think that's probably where his spot belongs. Next up, we got Skull Merchant. So Skull Merchant is just an all-around decent killer. She can have decent gen pressure and all around and all of that. However, she's not as powerful as like Sheno or Oni, to be fair. I would say she's around similar to Similarity's level. So yeah, I would say she's pretty equal to Singularity. Next up, we got Hag. I'm just gonna straight up put this killer there. Next up, we got Ghostface. So this guy right here, he's a very good killer. He is a very good killer to go against. He has very good gen pressure. He can have just an overall decent map pressure itself. He definitely deserves a spot in A tier. I would say definitely is above Singularity. He's a very good killer if you know how to play him. He's super easy to play as well, so it won't take you long to figure him out. Next up, we got Nemesis. So, this guy, I don't really know where his spot should go. I think he's A tier. But some of my friends say he's S tier because he's a very good killer. Some my friends just saying he's B tier, he's very mid. In my opinion, he's A tier. He's not a super high-end broken killer, but he's not a terrible killer. I'm gonna give him mid A tier as well. I'd say he's close to unknown. I don't think he's better than unknown. I'm gonna put him like behind unknown. He's not the greatest killer in the game, but a very good nemesis will demolish survivors. So he definitely he deserves a spot in A tier. Next up, and the last killer, we got Vecna. This guy is so much fun. Honestly, he's a very unique killer. He has 4 different abilities. He's the most recent killer that came out like a few days ago. He's pretty good. He's a very good killer. He's not S tier material in my opinion. He's around A tier. I'd say he's not even super high at A tier. He's like mid to high A tier, to be quite frankly honest. I would definitely say that this guy would have more pressure on gens and just the entire map itself is pretty good. Like, he has very good pressure. But if I had to rank him, I'll probably put him like behind Dredge. But anyways, that is my tier list there. Might agree with my choices. You might heavily disagree with some of mine. This is just, in my opinion, what I think of these killers. So if you disagree with me, let me know in the comments. If you agree with me, let me know. But in my opinion, this is my tier list for killers that by daylight. Anyways, though that said, I hope you enjoyed this, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Have a good night, guys.